that episode makes me laugh harder than any other episode.
Who is
Which one? The one where she shits on the steps?
21. Yeah, we talk about that. Something shit on the floor. You know when you're laughing so hard, it's like a silent laugh and you can't catch your breath.
Yeah.
He also created Below Deck.
Yes. What's his name?
Mark Cronin.
Yeah.
And he also did Rock of Love with Brett Michaels. They had to teach him how to date because he just had groupies. So they were like, okay, when you meet a girl, you got to ask her, like, what's your name? Where are you from? He's like, what? Because he just was like, I open the doors, someone gives me a blowjob. Like, what do we do?
Joining us on the blower on the Zoomies is a fan favorite, a friend of the show, that is Reality Life with Kate Casey. Kate Casey. That was bad, right?
No, that was good.
That was, I don't know. It seemed like I was missing a possessive or something, and then there was a big pause. So
Kate, 1 out of 5. 5 being a good intro.
Has to be a 2, and I don't want you to put that in her lap straight out of the gate.
She's an honest broadcaster.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
I liked it. I don't like it when it's like overly excited because it's so insincere. It's just like, what's up? It's Kate. I feel like I'm very monotone. In the beginning of my career, I was told I'm very Kourtney Kardashian, and I said, fine.
Can I tell you something? I was extremely passionate about that intro. That was as high as I can get.
That's as high as you can go.
Sadly.
I feel that deeply because I'm the same way. Somebody asked me the other day, like, do you get very excited at home? I said, I mean, no. I mean, I scream at my kids and my husband, but I'm not like, oh my God.
If that wasn't a therapist, fuck you, leave me alone.
Exactly.
Too prying a question.
My question right out of the gate, Kate, is how do we become you? Getting advanced copies of Love is Blind, and getting quoted in, what was that, People the other day? Or what was your little blurb you shared where you were one of the talking heads?
To be honest, I work my ass off. My career before this was as a media consultant for law firms. So I have been pitching my own things and sending sound bites to media for a long time. And the screeners, it's just like I've been working very hard on cultivating relationships with networks, not just the publicists, but the executives. So
yeah, it sounds like you smoke a lot less weed than we do. But anyways,
probably.
We want to jump. We jump it. You shouldn't try it. You're doing great. It is fun though. So
you're less productive though.
Yeah, we have such a good time with life.
It's a good point.
So we have a couple of shows to talk about with you, as we're wont to do when we get together, you know. Two very, very important ones. The Bachelor, which we are covering probably on this feed or at another Bachelor podcast. Not sure where this piece of audio you're hearing it is in your ears. And then the other one is Netflix's Love is Blind, which we have been waiting for what feels
2
like
years.
5.5 years at this point. But it is finally returning. So what do you want to start with?
Well, Love is Blind. I loved the first round.
Yeah.
Loved it. And so I got sent it and I forgot about it. And then I was scrolling through my preview content and saw it. And I started it at about at 9:30 Pacific. And I finished it at about 1:30.
Okay.
I did not stop. I kept going because, they put it in two batches. So it's like, here's where they're in the pods and they get to know each other. And then they're at the resort. The second batch is now we're going to go live somewhere together.
Yes.
And then our families meet each other.
Right.
And then we're going to go see if we're going to go through with a wedding.
Arguably
so I've been
the best
through
batch.
The first batch. And I got to tell you, I think it's as good as the first one.
Whoa.
Okay, so I think, and please weigh in on what you think makes the show so good. But we've talked about this show kind of striking a perfect balance of subjecting their cast to national embarrassment, but in kind of a tasteful way. Like 90 Day Fiancé is way too exploitative. Pat told me there's a person without legs on the show. It's just way too fucking...
Yeah.
It's way too much. The Bachelor is too campy. They don't shit on people enough. Love is Blind is this perfect porridge where they just show people telling someone they just got engaged to that they don't know that they have $30,000 worth of college debt. So it's just a perfect show. But why do you love it so much?
I think it's the right age of people. You don't have twats that are in their early 20s who just want to be on TV, and they probably had one boyfriend in college.
Right.
They don't even have their own like savings account because their parents pay for everything. They have no idea what they're talking about. So you have people that actually have had jobs, have had relationships, which is great. I think that they choose cities where people tend to be a little bit more level-headed generally. Like the first one was Atlanta and this one's in Chicago, I believe.
Okay.
So you get a sense that these are not people that are thirst traps who have moved to New York or have moved to LA because they want to get a sitcom or on Broadway. And you get a sense that their lives are not wrapped up in, will this lead to an audition so I can maybe, make this dream happen?
Right.
So that's great. The other thing about it I think is great is it just reminds you it's basically your life because you're sitting on the couch or wherever it is watching your own friends make horrible romantic decisions. They get engaged to the worst person that's not a great match for them. They think that somebody has so much in common with them, but you see the writing on the wall.
Right.
So when you're watching it, you're like, oh my God, why are they so dumb? They should never be with that person. Or how could you not see that you're a better match for that person? Or oh my God, I would have never put you two together, but it totally works and I'm so happy for you.
Or like I would never get engaged to somebody who I've never seen before, things like that. But what you're saying is
but there's so much more intimacy than all the other shows. So they're covering things that you're not covering on The Bachelor, like do you have an arrest record? Do you have an STD?
Right.
Does your father have any mental health issues that I need to know about, especially if we procreate?
I'm all for 3.
Like Pat has said many times, am I going to need to sell the house I just bought so that we're not completely underwater?
Absolutely.
So, Kate, one of the reasons that was the magic of season 1 was great casting. Okay, so you kind of touched on that. There's not going to be a bunch of thotties and hotties on here or twats. We got people in their 30s.
Yeah, but they're like normal looking people. They're people that you're like, they're like a hot Chicago. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody from Chicago could go to LA and could hang. Like they're going to get a couple heads turning.
LA
Chicago,
sevens.
Hot.
Right.
So I just think they hit it right because the people who are not in those cities where every single person in that city is the hottest person in high school, it's like people will watch it and go, okay, I can relate to that. When you're like too hot, I think people are kind of like,
it's like you're watching an exhibit.
So on season 1, Kate, we had a girl who constantly had a goblet of wine super glued to her right hand.
What was her name, Pat?
Wine hag!
Yeah.
That was a wine hag.
You got another one of those for sure. You've got another one of those. You have another...
Do we have a guy who
we can help move t-shirts.
Sends people on treasure hunts that start with boxes and where they need to find them in the ocean?
Look behind the pillow. There's a map. Follow the map.
You definitely have a meathead.
Anyone pretending to be into a particular sexual orientation that they're definitely not?
But definitely not. And so they resent that gender?
That I didn't notice.
Miss Carlton.
That one, they seem to steer clear of. However,
yeah, well, there's a lot of glass thrown, surrounding
You have
him.
the same elements of like people... they question themselves at the very end. They're really into two people, right? And then they get to then they're like second guessing. They're like, maybe it's a safer bet if I go this way or not. But the great thing is when they go to that Mexican resort, they get to see all the other couples and they get to see other people too.
Yeah.
So then they're like, I just blew my wad on this person. I told them they're the greatest person ever. But I got to be honest with you, that girl playing volleyball is pretty hot.
It's the best because there are those scenes where all the guys are like, you guys fucking, how far are you guys gone? And then you have someone happens. Like Mark, like, she just drinks and throws up and tries to scratch my face in the middle of the night. I don't know what you guys are
Mark,
talking
that's because
about.
you're part of the lollipop guild. What else?
Okay, you had a question.
Okay. So one of the best parts of season 1 was, again, the idea that they'd never seen each other, and then that first time you see someone. One thing that I think they missed doing is they had a bunch of average looking people on season 1 as well. Sounds like they did that at season 2. Did they give us any trolls or any hideous looking people?
Patrick.
What?
Well, I have to say, like,
Warlocks.
there's definitely like 2 where I'm like,
You're not
I don't
made
know
for
about
TV.
that. But then I also know that oftentimes people look a lot better in real person than they do on TV. So then I thought maybe this is a whole different situation in real life.
Well, it's kind of like that show Catfish with Nev or Neve or whatever the fuck his name is. The person's like, I have to meet them. We're in love. We'll be in love forever. And then the guy shows up at the park and the girl's like 400 pounds. He's like, fuck that.
None of that. It's not, you're not going to have like a forget.
Patrick, did you
You're
ask
not gonna
that
have
question
that.
actually? Did you earnestly think that's going to happen on this show? Get
I'd
out
like
of here. It's so crazy also that season 1 had a full-blown fucking robot on it. We've never seen anything like that in reality television. So,
Wait, can I tell you one other thing that's great?
yes.
You always have the couple that they're so into each other at the beginning and somehow they think that they are relationship experts. Like they think,
Oh, yeah. I hate that.
we made it and now we're going to take this out on the road and we're going to have seminars. We're going to write a book. We're going to empower other people to find their true soulmate. And you're like, well, let's wait until you meet the parents.
Yeah. Are you referring
That I
to
loved.
Amber and Barnett? I can see them going down Main Street in a tank signing books.
That would be Cameron and
Totally.
or his
Could be
wife,
that
Lauren.
too,
They
yeah.
think they're better than everybody, too.
Well, he's a robot, and he is better than everybody because he was designed to be that.
Is the old cast intertwined at all?
I didn't see any of them.
That's a bummer.
Wow.
But I did see Vanessa and Nick.
Well, of
And I
course, God
still-
willing.
Is she blazed
I
over on
still-
Pinot and pills like she was last season?
Okay.
I
She
still
was.
don't understand. I don't think they're necessary to the whole get up.
Kate.
But whatever.
Kate, pay it no more mind because it's futile. So everyone needs to watch this television program. Listen to Kate talk about it on Reality Life. Listen to us talk about it behind a paywall because we'll just go more in depth and we'll say worse things about the strangers. So go to patreon.com/another podcast network for season 2.
Well, I did interview the creator for season 1, so they can go back and listen to that, and hopefully I'll have him back for season 2.
What was his
What a
name?
brilliant human being.
Chris Colin.
Okay. My sister dated the director,
Oh, that's right.
Oh, fun.
but I can't remember his name. But I don't think they ended well.
Kate, one of
I
the
thought
odder
the guy
things
on
about
craft services.
the Love is Blind phenomenon, and it was definitely a thing in 2020, Love is Blind,
Yeah.
right? Is my understanding is they actually filmed it 2 years earlier. Did you get into
They
that?
did. They did. So actually, by the time we saw it, those couples had already been together for a year.
Yeah, or more. Crazy.
Well, they tend to have a little bit more longevity than the people on The Bachelor do. So that's what
So gooey.
that's what you call in the biz a
You know what, it's a
segue.
Great
Good
hosting,
point.
Dylan.
That's a good point because by the time it's the after the rose, and people are still like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't even know if I'm going to pretend to like this person even for a picture
Yeah,
because
it's
I want to
tr-
get more Instagram followers.
it's truly
These people
pathetic.
were plucked from obscurity, which is always very, very good thing. And they had a year where no one gave two shits about them. So
Right.
they were kind of forced to go, I don't know, maybe I should try to see if this can work out because otherwise the Bachelor people or Bachelorette people, both of them, they're on TV and 3 seconds later they're getting DMs and they're like, well,
Right.
I'm not going to like through the journey of love with you when I just got the hottest guy send me a DM.
Sure.
Yeah, I DM'd Tasha.
Okay.
Did you?
got to shoot your
Yeah,
shot.
she hasn't seen it.
All right. So
I sent the hand wave emoji.
all righty.
Real light.
This season, I feel very, very optimistic about because I don't think it's going to end that way. I think it's going to end in tragedy, or at least, I don't know. It'll be a little Schadenfreude. Is that the word? Mm-hmm.
Why can't you remember that word?
He is the worst bachelor probably to ever grace this stage. One of the most not camera ready people we've ever had helm the show. I think that a lot of people are bored by it because he's so corn fed, but I don't understand because it's been so enjoyable. I think I can speak monolithically for all of us. How do you feel about the new season?
What a word.
A couple things. One, I think the underbite is really what is throwing people off.
Yeah.
I don't know if people can
Go get him,
really
Kate.
see him as the hottest man that ever lived because of the underbite. And
He looks
think
like
that
Joe from Family Guy.
most of the women are clearly not interested in him,
Mm-hmm.
so much so that he is willing to overlook enormous red flags just for the opportunity to be around these women. Namely, like the first girl, it was like, gotta be honest with you, I just broke off an engagement, shouldn't be here,
Right.
want to leave. And he goes, and
Please
here's
stay.
a red rose.
Right.
The other girl who's like clearly just wants some TV time and is batshit crazy and doesn't care about kids.
Cassie.
Right.
And he's like, let's make out a couple times.
Yeah,
So
not
I
only
think-
does she not care about them, I think she actively dislikes them, which is fine. I feel the same way
Totally.
towards them. But yeah.
Well, to be fair, Jesse Palmer told him to have fun.
And that can we get into that? That is shocking that they chose somebody to host who did not successfully find love on this show.
Right.
But also looks like the elder version of The Bachelor. It looks like father and son, which is extremely creepy. But perhaps the most jarring thing
Jawing
is
thing.
that I don't know if you're aware of this, but Us Weekly has this back issue, or in the back of the issue is 25 things you don't know about me.
Oh, I'm aware of it.
So like 2 weeks before it is the premiere, and I kept it. It was the list of 25 from Clayton.
Oh my
Now,
God.
in most of these cases, it's a publicist that does it because they're so overwhelmed with media. They're like, can you throw me a bone? No one cares about Clayton. No one knows about Clayton. So he probably wrote them. Let me just go through a couple of them.
Oh, please.
I want
Thank
you.
God.
I want you to think to yourself, you're a lady who has seen a picture of him and thought, he's never going to pick one of these girls. Maybe I have a shot.
Yeah.
Then you read through these, a couple of them. One, he admits that he cried going when he went to an NSYNC concert with his aunt because he was the only boy there.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, not the greatest thing to say to women because you're like, I'm uncomfortable being around you unless you want to sleep with me.
Right.
So that's an issue.
Yeah.
Let me, what he's trying to say there, though, convey is, hey, I'm a sensitive guy, and I can be into things that you're into.
No. He didn't cry.
No, he didn't say that at all.
He didn't. He didn't cry because he liked NSYNC, Pat. He cried because he was there with his grandma and he was by himself.
He was
didn't-
embarrassed.
He did enjoy the concert. He wasn't
Yeah.
moved.
He was embarrassed. He was like, I don't want to be around these bitches, even though they were like 12.
Yeah.
Like, this is my nightmare. But now he's okay being around 28 women because they want to sleep with him.
Right.
So it's like not the smartest thing to say.
Sure.
Admitted that he got he says his vice are candles. Why that's important is the following. This one I was like, yeah. Okay. He admits he eats Chipotle 10 times a week. He eats it 5 days a week, breakfast and dinner. Chipotle is arguably like a fast casual, it's like a
dog
lunch
food.
item. Yeah.
Would you?
Breakfast
Would you?
and dinner, and he eats a Chipotle burrito bowl. And I want you to think about that. He eats that 10 times a week, which is probably why he needs the candles.
Makes sense.
So are we?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
he's burned down 3 of his former domiciles because
Right.
of the candle addiction. But I had a period in my life when I went keto, and I was eating a lot of Chipotle. Sorry.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, a lot of Chipotle bowls, so I don't fault the man. But then they got too soupy.
So are you enjoying the season or not? It's
Wait, I have to tell you these last two
Oh, sure.
because
Yes.
this is so important. Then he says in it that he once swallowed a quarter because he was cleaning it. Okay, now you're like, is there something wrong with you? But the worst one was he said one time he ate dog shit because he thought it was chocolate. I am not making this up. It was in Us Weekly.
Okay,
I want
so-
you to ask yourself what girl would date him after.
So four out of 5 of those. Well, I guess all 5. I guess point to an emotionally immature meathead is probably
I
it.
think so.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
good?
Swallowed a quarter, eats a lot of Chipotle, owns a lot of candles. One last thing was during quarantine, he admitted that he got a hip hop video online.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Boy, I could
Keep,
talk to him all night. All right, so I'm actually
We should fill
enjoying
out
the season.
our 25 things and,
Oh, sure.
and post them.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying the season, but I'm not sure if it's because it's good or it's just because the last 4 cycles have been so terrible that now
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
it is. Okay.
Yeah.
because Katie's season, we haven't talked to you, I guess, since Katie's season.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, she's a disaster. What's going on there?
Disaster.
Losing followers left and right with that closeted bartender from Hermosa Beach.
Is that right? You can lose followers if you date the wrong person?
She's just insufferable, the shit she posts. She was over 1 million, I think, and she's at like 974.
Ouch.
Idiot.
We thought Michelle's season was just a snore fest.
It was boring.
Very
Yeah.
boring.
Threshold.
She'll probably be married forever, but it was a boring season.
Yeah, it seems like they're having a good time.
Did you guys hear about Joe Coleman?
Don't know who that is.
He's the basketball player that she didn't pick, didn't have a pulse.
What about him?
Big Reddit thread. He was, of course, a University of Minnesota almost basketball player, and lots of sexual allegations are coming out. A number of women said it wasn't safe to be around him, and University of Minnesota had a couple instances of athletes having parties and a bunch of ne'er-do-wells. He's currently getting canceled.
Well, he
but
does
none of the Bachelor podcasts are like picking up the story. He's like protected right now, but on the Reddit, it's number one. All the Facebook groups are picking up. This is in the last 2 days.
Now,
He does have very quiet, terrifying eyes.
Kate, the last time we spoke, I put out the genius idea on how to fix the Bachelor or Bachelorette, and that was to have two, either the seasons run in the same house, have the Bachelorette find her guys in the same house.
And then possibly a little Tila Tequila action.
A little Tila Tequila with all the people kind of mixing it up. Well, wouldn't it be this season with Joe Millionaire, which they only took a little bit of my idea.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You watched the first episode of Joe Millionaire?
I sure did.
It's fantastic. I love it. It's wonderful. We should actually recap it if we had more time.
Yeah.
They have two guys. You're not supposed to know who the rich one is, who the just regular guy is, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, Kate, you tell me. I don't think we need that part of the show to make it interesting. It like, who cares who's rich, who's not? Just have two blue collar guys that have jobs.
You can smell money after a while. If these girls have any idea of what they're doing, I think they could probably sniff it out.
Well, the fun part is they're going on dates with these girls, and who gets chosen to be on the dates with whoever they're going on. But the other fun part is at the end of the day, both the guys decide which three girls are going home. So they have to be in agreement who they're kicking out. It's a real fun aspect. What do you think, Kate?
I like it. I think both of them are questionably attractive. I don't know who in real life would date them. The one guy who has a lot of money, it's like, yeah, but your family just like gave you a cush position. It's not like you're going out and crunching numbers. And he wears a huge gold necklace that could tug a boat. It is too much for me. The butler sucks.
The butler sucks.
Not a good host. It should have been like Ralph Garman. It would have been way better.
I was saying that to Pat.
Or Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes, somebody much better.
Ralph Garman.
The house is okay. The girls are a little bit but the concept is hilarious. Some of the dates are ridiculous. Like the one date or group date, they had them do like dancing as if they go to like a dinner party at this whomever the Joe Millionaire who is the most wealthy. Mm-hmm. This assumption, like, if you are part of this family, you must wear a prom dress. You're going to sit at a long table, and then we're going to all stand up and do like square, like dancing in like in a square with gloves on. I mean, it's never going to happen.
Well, no, they stole all the idea bits from season 1 of Flavor of Love. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, which is the best. Do you know I interviewed the guy that created that show, and to this day, that episode makes me laugh harder than any other episode.
Who is
Which one? The one where she shits on the steps?
21. Yeah, we talk about that. Something shit on the floor. You know when you're laughing so hard, it's like a silent laugh and you can't catch your breath.
Yeah.
He also created Below Deck.
Yes. What's his name?
Mark Cronin.
Mark Cronin.
Yeah. And he also did Rock of Love with Brett Michaels. And
Surreal Life.
Of 51 Minds.
And Surreal Life. Yeah, he said for Brett Michaels, they had to teach him how to date because he just had groupies. So they were like, okay, when you meet a girl, you got to ask her, like, what's your name? Where are you from? He's like, what? Because he just was like, I open the door and someone gives me a blowjob. Like, what are we talking
You know,
and I asked him if the hair is attached to the bandana. Like, does he just balding? And he said, I don't know. He never took it off.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
whatever he told you, the answer is yes. You know,
I feel for him. It is quite the cross to bear for me. Every time I open a door, I get a BJ. It's fucking. You can't have a real relationship.
That must be horrible.
it was so sweet to see when you were talking about the joy that woman shitting on those steps brought you. You really, for a moment, you did look off and you saw it was crystalline. Yeah, you felt it again. It's so powerful,
I was
those moments.
gasping for air. I was like, stop it. And he was laughing too. So
Yeah.
I just, when you hear the person that makes the show start laughing, that's like gold.
Yeah.
Little plug for us. We recap season 1 of Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
The best.
You can listen to it at patreon.com/another
So
podcast
good.
network.
And just click on the tags that say "Love Is Blind" because they're way down the feed, but you'll find them.
So, we got to wrap things up. You are the queen of documentaries. Is there anything that anybody's missing? Do we need to watch anything aside?
Something off the beaten path that maybe isn't when you have a great Facebook group. So when someone says, "Hey, what doc can I watch?" Boom, they got 50 people that say what docs. I actually watched like 5 docs a couple weeks ago based off your Facebook page.
Oh, good. So right now, Netflix just dropped today one called The Puppet Master about a guy who conned all of these women, and I think one man, and he starts dating them, like love bombs them, and then he's like, "Oh shit! Like shit's going down. I'm in these espionage, instances and situations, and your life is at risk, and so is mine. You need to give me money." And the whole thing plays out like a thriller. You're going to shit your pants while you watch.
So it's like a Dirty John kind of thing?
Oh, it's way better because it's somebody who is pretending to be like a spy.
He's pretending to be a James Bond, and what is he?
And it's in Europe, so it's like he's pretending to be, what is it, like M5 agent,
MI6 or something.
So it's really good. That one is great. There's a series on Netflix called Bad Sport, and they've got great sports stories about like fraudulent activity in sports, like the bad part of sports. But they've got one episode that's really good called Gold War. And it's about the 2002 ice skating scandal where there was a French judge that fucked over the Canadians and gave the gold to the Russians. And the Russians have a doozy of a story too, because it was this couple that fell in love and her previous partner was an asshole. And they were at one point skating, like, when they skate in parallel, like the spins.
Yeah.
Right.
He got a little too close to her, and his skate went into her head. So she had surgery. They thought she'd be paralyzed, but she came back and became like a champion again. So you felt bad for her because she had the skate in her head at one point.
Yeah.
You feel bad for the Canadians because they actually skated a better routine.
Well,
and then you find out that it's all like the judging at that point was bullshit because it was like Western Bloc versus Eastern Bloc. So that's a great story to watch.
That French judge just sounds like he really understands.
No, it was a woman.
The woman understands an incredible comeback story when she sees one. She had to give that gold.
Well, she did. She agreed to it because she wanted the French ice dancing couples to win gold in their category. So,
got it. Well, she's a fucking filthy cheat then. Remember, everybody boycott the Winter Olympics this year, okay? Vote with your eyes. Don't turn the TV on.
But wait,
I boycotted them every
did
time.
you watch it? Did you watch the one, The Way Down, on the woman who ran the cult where she told everybody to pray to Jesus?
Yes, I'm mad that Christy Teigen had a part in that. And I'm also mad that it was 3 episodes and then they just cut... Is it ended?
Well, because they didn't expect that she was going to die in a helicopter crash, which is exactly what happened.
But it's all found. I mean, it's all footage, previous footage.
But it's going to the last part is going to air, I believe, early February.
As someone who consumes so many of these documentaries, do you feel like they've gotten worse? I saw a tweet which really encapsulated my view on them. Like, they were like things that make a lot of money, and now it's like, okay, let's put this documentary out. It's 10 episodes, and at the end, you have no idea what the actual answer is.
Not
it seems
at all, because I feel like I find really good ones. Like one I think you'll really like is called Outcry. It's on Hulu now, and it's about Greg Kelly, who was a high school standout
I'm watching it right now.
Player.
Watching it right now. Crazy.
And he was wrongfully convicted of molesting a boy. It was not, in fact, him. It was this other boy on his team, and he went to prison.
Living with him.
And
they lived in the same house.
Because the Booster family took him in because Greg's mom was sick. So the mom of the Booster family had a daycare center, and Greg lived with them. And one of the boys in the daycare said somebody had touched him, but it was actually the daycare worker's son. So he gets sent off to prison, and he was finally exonerated. But what's great is through the episodes, you see the whole process happen. So by the end of it, you're emotional. His girlfriend from high school and her family
Stuck with
supported him.
Oh.
And he is, by the way, he's remained a great friend of mine. I interviewed him. I got emotional interviewing him because I was so attached to that story.
Yeah.
And that is a really good one. And then the last one to watch is called Dream Killer. That's on Netflix, and it's about Ryan Ferguson, who was wrongfully convicted of murder. And he was exonerated. And now he's on Amazing Race with his best friend. And you know who else is on Amazing Race? Works. I also interviewed the guy, two of the three Americans that thwarted that terrorist attack on a Paris train.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They're also on that same season of Amazing Race.
The Amazing Race has a lot of merit, but when there's Survivor around, why watch American Race? Or Amazing Race?
Well, they're not airing at the same time, so don't worry about it.
I got two other recommendations for the audience.
Okay.
First off, I want to say there was only one stinker in your Facebook group. One of your fans recommended I watch this documentary. I had no idea this ever took place in 1985. Basically, a psycho went into a McDonald's and killed everybody in the McDonald's. And back then, they didn't know what to do.
Why did they fuck his order up or something?
No, I think they make it look like he hated Mexicans. Okay. So this was down in San Diego, and the police don't go in. They don't know what to do. So this was back before they had SWAT teams, and it's pretty poorly made, and it also shows footage of children that were dead. And I was angry at your listener or your fan that recommended that because the first. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's not good. No.
Oh God, that was terrible.
Well, it's hard for you because you have
once you have a kid too, and you're like, oh my God. Oh,
I would love seeing.
Here's
that.
the doc. You got to watch. This is an oldie but goodie. It's about 8 years old. It's called Murder in the Park. Okay. This is the exact opposite of getting somebody out of jail and then it all being all good.
What's it about?
There's a murder in the 80s in a park. A young couple is murdered. A guy goes to jail for it. And he spends about 30 years in jail, and then a Yale team that's supposed to work to get people out that are probably innocent, an innocent project, and they get him out. And maybe he shouldn't have been. That's what I'll say.
Wow.
And it's pretty bad.
Did you guys watch this on 1.5 speed?
Wow.
No. And this is not a documentary. Kate, I know you're into it. Dylan's into it. Yellow Jackets is one of the best series I've watched in the last year.
Everybody keeps telling me that. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have fun.
Saying that.
It's fantastic. It's just the young women cannibalizing each other. I mean, what's not to love?
It's more than that.
Do you watch a lot of series, or is it filled with reality TV and docs?
No, I sometimes do. Like I loved White Lotus a lot.
Loved it.
It kind of depends on what I have as far as time, because I get a lot of screeners, so I always feel like I have a list that I have to get through.
Off air, I would love to pick your brain on cultivating these relationships with publicists and executives, if you're willing to.
You
share.
got it. Oh no, I always love to help.
Hell yeah!
Thank you, Kate.
Always fun if the time flies.
Always fun speaking to you.
Doesn't it?
Any questions for us, below deck related? That's pretty much all I know.
I saw one episode while I worked out, and it was the three couples that renewed their vows.
Yes, we just had them
on. They were actually fantastic.
That was really sweet.
They were fantastic. You got to check it out because it's a really shocking season wherein the white 25-year-old head stewardess drops the N-bomb.
I heard about
it. There is a African-American deckhand who tells her management that it happened, and they do essentially nothing. And tonight or this week, we saw it get run up to the top of the flagpole to Captain Lee, and they both still do absolutely nothing.
I think I saw that moment. I think when he goes in and tells, and he goes, "Well, that's not good." Like that was just kind of his response.
That's not good. You go talk to her then.
And when Dylan said you have to watch this, what he meant was don't watch it.
Don't watch it. But the chef looked like she makes really good food, but
she's
incredible.
But she's obsessed with just Japanese food?
No, that was just that one dinner. She did a tasting menu. She spent a lot of time in Japan.
No, she has a culinary arsenal the size of Charlton Heston's real one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, my God. No, wait. I can't leave without telling you. You have to make sure that you watch January 24th, the beginning of the A&E series on Playboy.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for it.
Fun. And by the way, all these people are like surprised. Like, it turns out he's a piece of shit. It's like, oh, Girls Next Door is the most disgusting show. And all these women were like, isn't it a fun show? Oh, it's so fun.
Ugh.
Move in, live here, sleep with me, dye your hair platinum blonde, never allowed to leave the house without my
permission. Can't date anybody, can't talk to anybody.
Have to take Quaaludes.
Go out to a
Dude.
club. Can't drink alcohol till you get back.
Can't drink alcohol. And then entertain my gross, ugly,
Old
old
farts.
friends and watch
Old boring movies.
And then sleep in a round bed that's covered in semen. Fun! Oh, it's such a great.
Pat has a
empowering
great
show.
bit where it's you're so lucky you're dead. Hugh Hefner is
Oh,
a prime
yeah.
candidate. He's
Prime
very,
candidate.
very lucky.
Lucky
Oh
he's
my
dead.
God.
Cremated
Isn't that
or wherever the fuck
truth?
he is.
Oh, and also I read this article that said that Don Cornelius like raped women.
Who the fuck
at
is
the
that?
Playboy Mansion.
He was
and,
the host of
Soul Train, right?
Soul Train. Yes, I think. It's,
and then he
What
and
a
then he-
name.
And then like a week later, he was like fine to come back and hang out. I'm like, that guy's glad he's dead too, because
you want to hear some other
Don Cornelius.
you wanna-
What a name.
some other members of the Thank God You're Dead group. Paul Walker dated two 16-year-olds prior to his death. One he was currently dating. I don't think we would have.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
I brought that up the week that he died, and I was eviscerated by people. They
Yeah.
were like, "This is how could you?" But I'm like,
Well, you have no tact, Kate.
wait,
That's
but
why.
I was just asking. I'm like, "Is this true?
right.
It's true.
Is that really true?"
It's 100% true. Yeah, I did my research on it. Yeah, there was one that he was dating, I think, when she was 15 and he was in his late 20s. And then when he died, he was dating a girl who was now of age, but he'd been dating her for 5 years. And it started when she was 16. He was in his mid 30s.
Yeah. Hitler
Thank
was
God he's
another
dead.
one.
Who's the famous guitar player? Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
He used to videotape. He had a restaurant and he'd videotape women
People
as they
pissing.
peeing. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He got caught for that
So
and
weird.
charged with it. But that slap on the wrist back then.
You should do the inverse of it. I wish I was dead, and do like James Franco.
Ron Jeremy. Yeah,
my
that's
God.
that's heavy. But yeah, no, a lot of fun stuff. We always have a great time speaking with you.
We gotta do this more. Maybe you and Pat should start a podcast. 'cause
You
he
and
gets
Pat
so
should
excited.
absolutely
oh
start
my
a
God, that
podcast.
is what dreams are made of.
Okay.
Pat, will you do an episode where we just go through like sports documentaries or something?
Sports aren't necessarily my wheelhouse. It's mostly reality TV and movies and all that stuff. But I can make something more.
Murder.
Nick
Just
is
stick
actually
to
the guy you want to do sports with if you want.
Murder
I watch a lot of
documentaries.
sports.
He
Murder
has seen
docs.
every
Let's do
single
murder
murder
ones.
docs.
Okay.
We'll
What?
do murder doc.
And I think this should be once a month. This is probably a off mic thing, but we should at least do a mashup once a month with each other. I think.
100%. Couldn't wait to do it again. Love it.
Awesome.
Kate, you
I'm
are
in.
the best. We'll talk to you very, very soon. Do not watch Below Deck, but do jump over and listen to us cover it. Everybody go to Reality Life with Kate Casey. Subscribe, leave 5 stars, and enjoy.
And join our Facebook group.
My wife's a big fan now.
Who could, once you
Oh,
hear her,
that's so
how can you
great.
not be? We'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kate.
Bye.